So in perfect competition, we have many firms and many buyers. Yes, that's why each firm cannot control the price. They are price takers, all firms and all buyers. In the monopoly case, we have only one firm. That's why it sets the price. By definition, monopolist is the price maker. Yes, it can control the price. So, and we will start from number 2 and to find the equilibrium in the monopolized market. So consider a monopoly with constant marginal and average costs. Marginal costs equals to average costs equals to 0.5. That faces the following market demand function. The demand function is 1 minus price. First of all, point A. We should draw a graph with the demand and marginal cost curves. Okay, let's do it. It's easy. So vertical axis, put here dollar, everything that we count in money terms. Then horizontal axis, quantity that will be bought by buyers and will be sold by our monopolist, one firm. Demand function. We see it's linear function with negative slope, 1 minus price, easy, yes, by 2 points. If price is equal to 0, maximal quantity equals to 1, and vice versa. If quantity is equal to 0, maximal price, maximal willingness to pay is 1. So name the line, always name lines, demand. Then marginal costs equal to average cost equal to 0.5. 0.5 for each quantity, it is horizontal line. So, okay. Derive the expression for marginal revenue and add the marginal revenue curve to your graph. How to find marginal revenue? What is it?
It's the derivative from total cost.
From total revenue.
Oh, yes, total revenue, sorry.
Yes. As marginal cost, it's the derivative from total cost. Marginal revenue is the derivative from total revenue. It's the change in total revenue if we change the quantity, by definition. So we take the derivative from total revenue. So first of all, we need to find total revenue. Total revenue for us right now, but as always, it's price multiplied by quantity. Yes, but in perfectly competitive market, we had price constant, yes, for each firm. But now we're speaking about monopolist, and monopolist controls the price. Yes, it's not constant for him. It controls what? It controls the demand. All demand belongs to the monopolist. Agree? So here we will put not price constant, but inverse demand function as a function of quantity. So we should find inverse demand function, easy, 1 minus Q. Yes, and put into total revenue. This will be 1 minus Q multiplied by Q. You can open the brackets. Q minus Q square. This is total revenue. And that matters, that total revenue, it is the function of quantity, not the price. You should have here equation with quantity, not price. Then marginal revenue. Marginal revenue is the derivative from total revenue by quantity. So this will be how much? Please tell me.
It should be 2Q. No, 1 minus 2Q.
1 minus 2Q. Yes, take the derivative from total revenue. 1 minus 2Q. Yes. And we should draw this line. Marginal revenue equals to 1 minus 2Q. Also, linear function with negative slope. Yes. And by 2 dots. If quantity is equal to 0, marginal revenue equals to 1. So we start from this point. Marginal revenue we count in money terms, in dollars. Yes, revenue. Then, if marginal revenue is equal to 0, quantity equals to 1/2. Okay, I can write it. If quantity is equal to 0, then marginal revenue equals to 1, and vice versa. If margin revenue equals to 0, then 0 equals to 1 minus 2q, quantity equals to 1/2. So it crosses horizontal line in the middle of this part, yes, of horizontal line, 1/2. You see that I continue margin revenue in negative part of our axis, because margin revenue, it's only geometrically, it's only the slope of total revenue. And total revenue, you see it's quadratic function with the branches down. So the slope of total revenue, first it is positive slope and then it's negative slope. And margin revenue, it's only the slope of total revenue. So it's okay that it can be negative. But you never continued demand function, because demand cannot be negative. So here total revenue. Then, and you see, if we compare, this is inverse demand function 1 minus q, and margin revenue 1 minus 2q. They are very similar, but margin revenue is 2 times steeper than inverse demand function, you see? And it is always true for linear demand functions. So if, for example, you will have inverse demand function, I don't know, 5 minus 5q, you can count very fast marginal revenue. It will be 5 minus 10q, 2 times steeper slope, and that's all. For linear demand function, only for linear demand functions. Okay, then we should find equilibrium in this market. In equilibrium, what we should put into answer, price and quantity. That will be set. Equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. First of all, we write down profit maximization program. For each firm, we always write down profit maximization program. Profit is total revenue minus total costs. Total revenue is one minus q multiplied by q. Total costs, how to count? We see average costs are constant, 0.5. So total cost will be 0.5 multiplied by quantity. And this we should maximize by choosing quantity greater or equal than 0. And then when you wrote down profit maximization program, you can use our 3 steps, but here to be faster, we will check only 2 steps. First step, first derivative out of profit should be equal to 0. But if you take the derivative, this is the derivative from total revenue minus the derivative from total cost should be equal to 0. The derivative from total revenue, it's marginal revenue. The derivative from total cost, it's marginal cost. So first, first what we should do to find optimal quantity is to equalize marginal revenue and marginal cost. Marginal revenue we counted, 1 minus 2q. Marginal cost,
1 minus 2 price. Is it the same?
What?
Is it one? Oh, it's 0.5, and it's 1 minus 2 price.
No, 1 minus 2q, it's marginal revenue.
Oh, okay, I see.
And we take all these derivatives, we take by quantity, not by price. And so from here, we will find optimal quantity that will be sold by monopolist. So from here, Q star optimal quantity equals to how much? 1/4, yes? Or 0.25. Then, so this quantity will be sold by monopolist. What will be the price that monopolist will set? what we should do? Who can answer?
We should
We
paste.
should
or-
put, yeah, we should put
Sorry.
quantity in the demand function. Or
Yes,
not
yes.
oh, yeah, the inverse demand function.
Into inverse demand function. Yes. Why? Because inverse demand function by definition is maximum willingness to pay. And monopolies can charge the price that will be maximum willingness to pay of our consumers. Yes. So we put this quantity into inverse demand function. And optimal price will be 1 minus 1 over 4. It is 3 over 4. Yes. So this is equilibrium. Also, we can count profit, for example. Profit, how to count? Total revenue minus total cost. Optimal price multiplied by optimal quantity minus 0.5 multiplied by optimal quantity. And this we can count. 3 over 4 multiplied by 1 over 4 minus 1 over 2 multiplied by 1 over 4. This is 1 over 16. We will use it later. Okay. How to solve all this graphically? Graphically, what we do? We cross marginal revenue and marginal cost. And from here, we find quantity. So on the graph, marginal cost equals to marginal revenue. Where at this point? Yes. And from here, we find quantity. Quantity equals to 1 over 4. What we do next? We put this quantity into inverse demand function. So inverse demand function, where? Move here, yes? And from here, we find optimal price. Three over 4. Agree?
Yep.
Good. So please, questions about this point?
Oh, yeah, I do have a short question. I didn't get why does the marginal revenue able to go down the 0? Why? I mean, like, I don't understand why these numbers can be negative, like, at all. How?
So we have total revenue as a quadratic function. Yes, this is the graph for total revenue. You remember Q minus Q square. Quadratic function, yes, so branches down. This is total revenue. Agree?
Yeah.
What is a geometrical meaning of marginal revenue? Marginal revenue is the derivative from total revenue. Yes, the derivative is the slope of tangent line to total revenue. So, for example, here, slope of tangent line is positive. Yes, here, slope of tangent line or derivative, tangent line is horizontal, so the slope equals to 0. So here, the derivative marginal revenue will be equal to 0. Here. And in this part, slope of tangent line is negative. You see negative slope. So the derivative is negative, so marginal revenue is negative. We can show it like this. And here will be marginal revenue. So marginal revenue will start from 1 here. When we have maximal total revenue, marginal revenue will be equal to 0 because the slope of tangent line is 0. Yes? In 1/2. And then slope is negative. And here is 1. Like this.
Oh, good. It makes sense, I guess.
I hope. So guys, but it's calculus, it's not economics. Okay, from economical point of view, we can explain it like this. Marginal revenue is, it is by definition what? It is the change in total revenue when we change the quantity. But it can happen that when we increase the quantity, our revenue goes down. Yes, in this part of total revenue. So much revenue is negative. The change in total revenue is negative here. Total revenue is decreasing in this part. So, okay. Then. And C. The government introduces a per unit subsidy of S on the firm's output. At what level should it set as subsidy to maximize social welfare? So we should find per unit subsidy such that social welfare will be maximized. In which market and which conditions we will have maximal social welfare? Who remember?
Perfectly competitive.
When yeah, competitive
Perfectly
market.
competitive market.
Yes, in perfectly competitive market without government intervention. We do not have deadweight losses. When we have monopoly, even right now, this triangle is deadweight loss. I will not show it right now, but anyway. So social welfare is maximal, no losses. Yes, when we have perfect competition without government intervention. And we know the condition for perfectly competitive market, how quantity and price is chosen. In monopoly, marginal revenue equals to marginal cost. In perfect competition, price equals to marginal cost. You remember from previous class. So price equals to marginal cost in perfectly competitive market. So marginal cost equals to 0.5. So the price in perfectly competitive market will be 0.5. Let's say it is P0. So the quantity that will be bought and sold, put this price into the demand function. This will be 1 minus 0.5 to 0.5. This 1 minus P0. So where is this point on the graph? Where marginal costs cross the demand function. Here, in this point. This is the best point without social welfare losses. It is the situation of perfectly competitive market. Quantity will be equal to 1/2. Price will be equal to 0.5. P0, Q0. So, and let's see. What per unit subsidy our government should give to monopolist such that monopolist will want by himself to set the price equals to 0.5 instead of 3/4.
It should be 1/2 minus 1/4. Like we should complete this gap from the complete it. I mean.
Yeah. So government for monopolists to set the price 0.5, government should pay more to monopolists. Should pay how much? 0.5 plus subsidy such that monopolist will have in total 3/4 from each unit sold. Yes? So this subsidy will be the difference between 3/4 previous monopolist price and the price that government want monopoly to set. Yes? So subsidy will be the difference between monopolist price and the price that government wants from monopoly to set.
So it's 0.75 minus 0.5?
Yes. minus 1/2. This is 1/4. Yes. Yes. So 0.25.
25.
We can show it. So this difference will be subsidy. Yes, this difference. So, and now, how much our buyers, our consumers will pay? Price of buyers after such a subsidy.
The same.
They will pay
as it
less,
was.
They will pay how much?
0.5.
1.5.
0.5. They will pay 0.5. They will see in supermarkets, they will see the price 0.5. Yes. So this will be 0.5. This P is 0. Yes, as a perfectly competitive market. So, and the price of seller, this is the price that seller will put in his pockets. This will be a price from buyers from supermarket plus subsidy from the government. Yes. So this price of buyers plus subsidy. And this is how much?
0.75.
As before, 304. Yes, monopolist price. So the difference between price of sellers and price of buyers is now this subsidy. Yes. So now, how much our monopolist will sell? For this price 0.5, buyers will buy how much? 1/2.
1/2. 0.5.
So monopolist will sell more than before. Yes. So quantity mu, for example, will be equal put price of buyers into inverse into demand function. 1 minus price of buyers. This is 0.5, and this is as in perfectly competitive case. Yes. So we move from this ineffective equilibrium point to this effective equilibrium point without social welfare losses. Also, we can count. How much government will spend on this subsidy. Let's calculate. So government spendings will be how much? S capital, let's say. It's per unit subsidy multiplied by the quantity that will be sold. Yes? And this is 1/4 multiplied by 1/2. 1/8. Then what we can show it on the graph. Government spendings. S, it's subsidy multiplied by the new quantity. This rectangle, yes? This is government spendings. Agree?
Yes.
Also, we can calculate profit of monopolist or producer surplus here, because producer surplus is the sum of profits of all firms, and we have here only one firm. So producer surplus is now the profit of our monopolist. Yes, because we have only one firm in the market. And the profit here will be, he will have from each unit sold price of seller 3/4 multiplied by quantity that he will sell new quantity minus costs minus 0.5. Okay, average cost multiplied by new quantity. This is new profit. Let's count. This will be 3/4 minus 1/2 multiplied by new quant to 1/2. And you see that this is also 1/8. Is the difference between the price and costs multiplied by the quantity that it will sell. So all profit of monopolist will come from government. You see, the same rectangle is the profit of monopolist. Guys, agree? The difference between price and costs multiplied by the quantity that it will sell. Profit margin multiplied by the quantity. This is the new profit of monopolist. Yes?
Yeah.
But doesn't that mean that all the money from the government only improves the monopolists' well-being?
But social welfare will be also improved. We will see it. What we also should count and show on the graph, consumer surplus. Yes, consumer surplus. I will show it on the graph. Consumer surplus right now, by definition, is the area under inverse demand function and above the price that consumers pay in the supermarket. Price that they pay is 0.5 now. It is lower than before. So, and consumers now, they pay less and buy more than before. So consumers, they are better off. Agree? After such a subsidy. So all this area under inverse demand and above the price that our consumers pay, this big triangle is consumer surplus. And you see that in this situation, we do not have any welfare losses. Social welfare will be what right now? Social welfare is consumer surplus plus producer surplus, and here minus government spending, because government spend this money, not earn, but spend this money. So here minus government spendings. And producer surplus and government spendings, they are 1/8 minus 1/8. Yes, these two areas. So we have social welfare equals to consumer surplus, this big, on my graph, green triangle. And it is, and we are in equilibrium, that it is the most efficient equilibrium, as in perfect competition. Yes. So if we have perfect competition, I can show where will be social welfare if perfect competition. This marginal cost, this is the demand function. So cross demand and marginal cost, this is equilibrium and perfect competition. We sell Q0 for price P0. Where is social welfare? This triangle. And it is equal here also consumer surplus.
But we must remember that this is like the perfect situation, because in the market, I mean, in the real life, it like never exists such situations. Because I think this question was, how could government pay for monopolies? Because monopolies are bad for government, for like in real life. So we try to avoid monopolies. Monopolies, yeah. So I think Lisa's question was, how could it exist? But this is just an example how it could work. I mean, because we're talking about economy and economy. I mean, economy theory, and in theory, such a situation could exist, but in real life, no.
But what is happening here? Yes, I absolutely agree. What is happening here? Our government try to make monopoly to sell more and to charge a lower price. And now, after subsidy, consumers are better off. Yes, they pay less and buy more. So consumers are better off.
And why does consumer surplus and producer surplus overlap? How can it happen?
It can happen. It's okay. It can happen. We are we need to understand how we calculate it. What is government spendings? What is producer surplus?
I understand how we calculate, but I can't understand how the same money can go both to the producers and to the consumers.
Okay, one more time. You see, social welfare now is consumer surplus plus producer surplus minus government spendings. So producer surplus and government spendings, they overlap, and this money from government spendings goes to monopoly. So this blue triangle, delete, not triangle, blue rectangle, delete red rectangle. So there are no, how to explain? They delete each other, these two areas. So we have here only consumer surplus at the end.
Well,
because we make minus government spendings. So this profit minus government spendings. So we first draw red area, profit of monopolist, then minus government spendings, then delete this rectangle by blue area. So now we have nothing. Plus and minus gives us 0, yes? And then we draw consumer surplus.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Can Moscow metro system can be seen as a monopoly?
Yes, it's a monopoly, and it's I don't know how to say it in English. Это естественная монополия.
Да, я знаю.
Natural.
Yes, nature. Thank you. Yes, nature monopoly. Yes, because without government help, it will not work because it's too costly for monopoly. And this is the situation of nature monopoly.
Is Moscow Metro a government company? Does it belong to government?
Yes, it belongs to.
Well, I was just saying that.
But
I want to say that.
But not totally belong. I don't know. You can Google it.
So I think that sometimes it's okay for government to have a monopoly, not always bad.
Yeah, that is why I asked, and because I think this can be considered as the example of like a perfect from the monopoly.
Government sometimes is itself the monopoly. For example, nuclear weapon industry is a monopoly because only governments have forces.
Complicated question because it doesn't work like properly as we doing it right now, because it's not a perfect monopoly, and yeah, some things are not secret, but like we're not talking about them because yeah, I mean, we can talk about it later with you, Diane.
Okay, guys, let's continue. It's a super interesting question. It's topics about monopoly and how monopolies are regulated by governments of different countries. It's the topic of industrial organization course. Maybe you want to take it after micro course if you have this in your program. It's an industrial organization course.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, but now we're only get familiar with monopoly, and that's all. Then, point C. Point C, easy. The subsidy is cancelled. No subsidy, but the firm is offered to acquire a new technology that would reduce its marginal costs to 0.2. So the offer is buy new technology such that your marginal costs will be lower, not 0.5, but 0.2. You will have new marginal costs, 0.2. But you should buy this technology and pay for this technology, for example, I don't know, F. You should pay F for this technology. So, and our task is, what would be the maximal amount that the monopoly would pay for this technology? So, what will be maximal amount that a monopoly will pay for this technology? What we should do? How to solve it? when it will be profitable for our monopoly to buy this new technology.
Maybe when we will compare the amount of money that it will earn with the employment of this technology, and if it is more, then it's not profitable for it. If it is less, then it's okay.
Yes, exactly. So we should calculate two profits. One profit we calculated. If we do not buy this technology, we will have profit. We calculate 1/16. I calculated it in point.
Yeah.
So without technology, our profit is 1/16. And then we should calculate profit if we will buy this technology. With technology, our profit will be. So one more time, we write down profit maximization program. Total revenue, 1 minus Q multiplied by Q, total revenue, minus new costs minus 0.2 multiplied by Q. And also we paid this fee, this F. Yes, so here minus F. F is constant, but we don't know this constant. And this we should maximize by choosing quantity greater or equal than 0. Okay, let's do our step. Marginal revenue equals to marginal cost. Marginal revenue should be equal to marginal cost for profit maximization. Marginal revenue as before, 1 minus 2Q. Marginal costs now lower, 0.2. So with lower costs, we will sell more than before. How much? $0.4. Yes, I counted. Agree?
Yeah.
Then put this quantity. We will sell more by lower price. Put this quantity into inverse demand function. This will be 1 minus 0.4. This is 0.6.
6.
And before we had 0.75. So we will set lower price. Yes, for consumers. Now we are ready to calculate our new profit. Our new profit with technology. Okay, let's write down with or technology. Optimal price multiplied by optimal quantity minus 0.2 multiplied by optimal quantity minus F. This will be
0.24.
Where?
Well, if we multiply.
0.24, it's total revenue,
Yes.
minus 0.08.
0.8.
Minus F. And this is 0.16 minus F.
F.
So, and now 1/16, before it is 0.0625. And it is profitable for us to buy new technology only if our profit with technology is greater or equal than the profit without it. Easy. So buy new technology if and only if profit with this new technology greater or equal than the profit without. Put here our numbers. 0.16 minus F should be greater or equal than 0.0625. So counted. So the price of new technology should be less or equal than this difference. And this is 0.0975. And our question was, what is the maximal fee for which they will agree? So maximal fee, this one. It is the last price for which they can agree to buy. Okay?
We should say that anything equal or lower than this price is suitable for the company.
Yes. If it is not, if this technology is not so expensive, we will buy this technology. Yes. If it is too expensive, we will not buy it. It is not profitable for us. And that's all. Okay. Any questions about this task?
Nope.
Good. Let's move on. So, number 3. Number 3, we also have monopoly. The inverse demand is 90 minus Q. Then total costs 0.5 multiplied by Q square. This is total costs. Total costs. So we should find equilibrium in monopoly market and draw the graph, show consumer surplus, producer surplus, deadweight losses, and then to talk about government intervention. So point A and B. In point A and B, let's find equilibrium. So let's find equilibrium price and quantity. As always, write down profit maximization program and then margin revenue equals to marginal cost. Profit maximization program, total revenue, inverse demand 90 minus Q multiplied by Q, this is total revenue, minus total cost, this function 0.5 Q square. Then this we should maximize by choosing quantity greater or equal than 0. So our step, marginal revenue should be equal to marginal cost. Marginal revenue, you see here, linear demand function 90 minus Q. So marginal revenue will be 2 times steeper. Yes, or you can take the derivative from total revenue. You will see that marginal revenue will be equal to 90 minus 2Q. So instead of 1 here, put here 2. 2 times steeper slope. Then marginal cost, who can tell me, equals to what?
It's the derivative from total cost.
And
So it's 0.5 multiplied by 2, and it is 1/4.
It's just Q.
Why
it's
are
not
you?
zero.
Yeah, it's 2 multiplied by 0.5 and it makes it 1.
Oh, yeah, sorry. My mathematics.
So
I
it's
wanted
Q.
to ask why marginal revenue is 90 minus 2Q.
Okay, we can take the we should take the derivative from total revenue. Total revenue, open the brackets, it's 90Q minus Q square. Take the derivative from
Yeah,
it.
I see.
It's 90 minus 2Q. Okay, so equalize 90 minus 2Q equals to Q. From here we find optimal quantity equals to 30. This is the quantity that monopolist will sell. Then put this quantity into inverse demand function. So the price, the maximum willingness to pay for such quantity will be equal to 90 minus 30, 60. And let's show it on the graph. Always write name axis, always. Then we start demand, 90 minus Q. Here will be 90, here 90. This is the demand. Then we draw marginal cost function. Marginal cost for us, marginal cost equals to Q. This is what? Linear function with positive slope, and we start from 0, 0. Yes. One more time. Marginal cost equals to Q. You know. Yes. It divides our first force by 2 same areas. This marginal cost. Then marginal revenue. Marginal revenue is 90 minus 2Q. Linear function with negative slope. If quantity is equal to 0, marginal revenue equals to 90. And if marginal revenue equals to 0, quantity equals to 90 over 2, 45. So in the middle, 2 times steeper, yes, than demand function. Here, 45. Then we solve graphically marginal revenue equalized to marginal cost, where they cross each other in this point. Yes, from this equation, we find quantity. So from here, optimal quantity will be equal to 30. And then we put this quantity into inverse demand function. So this quantity, for such quantity, how much our buyers will pay this price equals to 60. Agree?
Yeah.
So let us show consumer surplus, producer surplus, and deadweight losses from monopolization of the market. Consumer surplus. This is the area under inverse demand function and above the price that consumers will pay. Small triangle. This is the consumer surplus. Then producer surplus. Producer surplus, it is the area under the price and above marginal costs. So this trapeze is the producer surplus, or in our situation, it is the profit of monopolist. Why? Because we have only one firm. This is the profit of monopolist. And you see, if we compare this situation with our ideal situation of perfect competition, here demand, here marginal cost, we will have this equilibrium, effective equilibrium, Q0, price P0. And you see that if we will have perfect competition, producer surplus will be this triangle, consumer surplus will be this triangle. So in perfectly competitive market, they will buy and sell more and pay less. Yes. And compare this area of social welfare with case of monopolization. And you see the difference between ideal social welfare and social welfare that we have now, the sum of consumer surplus and producer surplus, is this last triangle, and this is deadweight loss. Social welfare loss because of monopolization of the market. So this is deadweight loss because of monopolization. So, questions about this?
No.
I hope. So next, C. In point C, government introduced per unit tax. Let's read. To cover budget deficit, the government introduces a per unit tax of $15 on the monopoly. So tax is 15 per unit. Saying that this will only increase the buyer's price by a fraction of the tax. Opposition says this policy is nevertheless unfair because the lion's share of the tax revenue will come from the consumers who are already paying a high price, and the monopoly will only pay a small share. Are they right? Let's write down. So we have two statements, and we need to answer, are these statements true or false? So let's write down these two statements. Statement one. Price that buyers will pay will increase by a fraction of the tax. And the second statement is that monopoly will pay smaller share of the tax. Please. Smaller share of the tax. we need to calculate new equilibrium after this government intervention and then answer are these two statements are true or false. Okay, so what we have right now. Ready? So we have per unit tax for monopolist. We can say that now for monopolist, it is more expensive to produce each unit by this 15. Agree? So it's more costly for monopolist to produce each unit by this tax, because now for each unit, monopolist should pay this tax to the government. So how we can write down it? Our marginal costs increase by the tax. Marginal costs is the change in total cost when we change the quantity. Yes. So our new marginal costs will be old marginal costs plus this tax. Yes. Each unit is more costly for the monopolist by this tax. Good. So, and this will be Q plus 15. Yes. Let's do it faster. Let's say that we wrote down profit maximization problem. Let's say let's do margin revenue equals to marginal costs right now. So margin revenue should be equal to new marginal costs for monopolist. Margin revenue is before 90 minus 2Q, new marginal costs Q plus 15. From here, we will find new quantity that monopolist will sell. And I think it's logically that if we have tax, monopoly is worse off and it will sell less than before. But let's see. This will be how much? New quantity. Please calculate.
25.
25, yes. And it is less than before. Yes, monopolist sell, before it was 30. Monopolist sells less because it's more expensive for him to sell this product. And the price, you understand that the price will be higher. Yes. Put this new quantity into inverse demand function, 90 minus 25. And this price will be paid by consumers. They will see this price in the supermarket. 90 minus 25, it is 65. Yes. And this is exactly the price that consumers will see in the supermarkets. They will pay 65 instead of 60 as before. So 65 is the price for buyers. Yes. What you can tell me about the price for our seller right now? How much our monopolist will put into his pocket after paying tax? How much?
50.
50, yes. So buyers pay 65 in the supermarket. 15 monopolists pay to the government, and the rest is for him. Yes. So it is the price for buyers minus per unit tax. Yes. And this difference goes to monopolist. And now he will have 65 minus 15, it is 50. So now he earns less from each unit sold than before. Then what also we can count? We also can count, no, first of all, we can answer about the first statement. Is the first statement true or false? Price of buyers increased by fraction of the tax. Is the statement true or false?
True.
Yes, it's true. Exactly. Yes, so this is true. Why? And explain it. Because price for buyers increased from 60, yes, before they paid 60 to 65. So it increased by 5. And this is this is the fraction of the tax, because the tax is 15. It is 1/3 of tax fraction. So this statement is true. Agree?
Agree.
Then monopoly pays smaller share of the tax. We can count what share will be paid by monopoly and by our consumers. But we calculated right now that consumers will pay 1/3 of tax. So 2/3 will be paid by monopolists. Yes.
So monopolists will be paying 10 apparently.
Yes, but if we will speak in share terms, yes, it will pay 10, yes, and 10 over 15, it is 2/3 of the tax. Agree? So, okay, let's write down it one more time. So, the share of the tax that will be paid by buyers, it is the difference between price that they pay now and before divided by the tax. And this is 5 over 15, 1/3. So the share of the tax that will be paid by seller, this is old price minus price that he has now over the tax. It is 10 over 15, 2/3. But the share of the seller of monopolist is bigger than the share of consumers. Yes. So what can we say about the second statement? Monopoly pays smaller share of the tax or not?
No, it's false.
Oh,
It's
no.
false.
It's false, yes. Because vice versa, we counted it. Yes, let's write down. Monopolist pays a bigger share of the tax. Because 2/3 bigger than 1/3. По-русски вот эти вот штуки, которые считаются, они называются налоговое бремя. Может быть, кто-то проходил. Вот эти штуки, да, какую долю налога платят покупатели и производители, да, когда налог вводится. Это называется налоговое бремя. Ну, по-английски это просто share of the tax, да, называется. Мне нравится больше налоговое бремя. Вот. Потому что это, ну, там, платить налоги, это все-таки обременитель. Очень красиво звучит. Все, окей. Guys, questions about this? We will not, I do not want to show this situation on the graph, but I think, okay, if we will have time, I will show. Let's do D, and then if we will have time, I will show you on the graph this point. D. The government changes its new policy. It cancels the tax and considers introducing a price ceiling to make the monopolist output more affordable to the poorer customers. So now we have price ceiling. What that means? You cannot charge the price higher than this price ceiling. So this will be a maximal price. You cannot set the price higher than this. At what level should the price ceiling be set to maximize social welfare? Easy. What should be this price ceiling such that social welfare will be maximized? Let's show on the graph. Who can tell me?
It should be this point when the marginal cost crosses the demand function.
Yes, maximal social welfare when we have perfect competition without government intervention. Yes, and this is the situation. Perfect as in, let's write down, as in perfect competition. Yes, and in perfect competition, inverse demand function crosses marginal cost. Price equals to marginal cost. Yes. And this is inverse demand. 90 minus Q equals to marginal costs of our monopolist Q. Yes, old marginal costs without the tax. So quantity that will be sold is 45, and the price is how much? Put into inverse demand. It is 45. Agree? What is happening on the graph? So before we had this marginal revenue equals to marginal cost, and this was our monopoly case. This was 30 and 60. But if the government will tell us that you cannot set the price higher than this maximal price equals to 45. Yes, so this maximal price ceiling will be equal to 45. This one. So our monopolist, he cannot set the price 60 right now. He can set maximal price 45. So he will do it, yes? So this will be new price 45 after such government intervention. And for this price, it's not profitable for him to sell 30. He will sell more, yes, for this price. He will sell 45 as in perfectly competitive market. So this will be new equilibrium. New equilibrium in the monopoly market with such government intervention that coincide with our perfectly competitive equilibrium. This will be new quantity. And you see that now, after such government intervention, this is new producer surplus. Consumers are better off. Why? Because they pay not 60 but 45 and buy not 30 but 45. They pay less and buy more. So consumers are better off. You see this triangle of consumer surplus now is bigger than without such intervention. And you see that with such policy, we do not have welfare losses, no deadweight losses, yes? So this social welfare is the maximal social welfare. Good?
Mhm.
So, okay. Now we don't have time to show you. Okay, you can try to draw it by yourself. So for you, for home task point C, draw the graph. These graphs for point C, they are everywhere in each textbook. So you can open any textbook and you will find the graph for point C. But first try to draw it by yourself. Okay?
Yep.
Why? Mhm.